Yeah, Keitha, that really is a big one. Because of COVID, the potential jurors will only go to the courthouse 4 at a time, though they are still questioned individually. Here at our own courthouse in Duval County, you remember this is where all of the protests happened last year, right after Floyd's death. Well, there will be a protest planned for 6 p.m. tonight to call for justice for George Floyd.
I think the conversation around police brutality and police reform has come more to the forefront.
Michael Sampson II with the Jacksonville Community Action Committee will be watching as the trial unfolds, the world watching as a nation reckons with racial injustice catapulted to the forefront by the killing of George Floyd. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin charged with second-degree murder and manslaughter.
Of course, the defense will attempt to character assassinate the late George Floyd.
The court needs 12 jurors and 4 alternates. Each day, 8 potential jurors will go to the courthouse. Questionnaires were sent out to potential jurors before Christmas. 14 pages asking knowledge of the case, media habits, and police contacts.
This is what democracy looks like.
George Floyd's sort of his murder, but in essence, his martyrdom has created is a situation in which probably millions of more people in this country who are more aware of racial injustice and police brutality and want something to be done about it. And I think that's something that is irreversible, no matter the outcome of the trial.
Jury selection is expected to take 3 weeks. Now, testimony, though, will not begin before March 29. I'm Renata DiGregorio, live in Duval. First Coast News on your side.